Welcome back to the Thoughtful Advocate podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Teo, and today's basically going to be a recap of 2025, what I've been through, what I've learned, and what I'm taking into 2026. 2025 did not look the way I thought it was supposed to look. I went into it with too high of expectations in a lot of areas, mostly due to TikTok. I keep seeing those aesthetic TikToks of moms like redoing their nursery room and getting ready, and they would take short clips throughout the day of their time spent with their baby, their daily routines. I was like, oh, that looks so peaceful. First 4 months were not peaceful. It was rough. I think 2025 really set me into reality of what it's like becoming a mom. Obviously, everyone's different. And I think, like most parents experience, if you speak to other parents, they'll say there's super high highs and super low lows when you have children. And that's so true. Because the first 4 months, I would say, were probably where our low lows were because it was just so difficult. I honestly don't think we knew what we were doing exactly, but also, yeah, we were just trying to figure out and survive, doing everything for the first time, breastfeeding, taking care of baby with stomach problems, and just figuring out the whole parenting thing with a newborn was so difficult. But we learned a lot from it. And I think, honestly, we're going to take a lot from it and use that to our advantage for the next baby. Becoming a mom also forced the truth out of a lot of things in my life. My relationships with my family, friends, my relationship with myself was probably the most impactful for me. Just the way I did things, learning to put myself first was a big key. And all in all, I think 2025 didn't make me louder, but it made me more honest in my life. I've always wanted to start this podcast. So, I began scripting end of October, November of 2024. So I was like, oh, I have all this time. Really did. Honestly, in your third trimester, you're just so tired. I think it is the best trimester for me because I'm not nauseous and throwing up. That's the worst. The first 2 trimesters are worse for me. It's mostly just tiredness, which I can deal with. In December, Ace was born. Towards the end of December, we spent New Year's in the hospital, and that experience itself, the giving birth experience, it went better than I thought it would have. I was honestly terrified. I thought I would be in hospital for 24 hours, more than that, because I heard stories of people just being in labor forever. But I guess, in a way, I was lucky because I had a C-section. It was an emergency C-section because, again, he was a baby and his legs were hanging down. I think for C-sections, for me at least, and I've heard from other mothers, the surgery is easier than giving vaginal birth. The aftermath, post-surgery, is harder because of the recovery, and I still feel random pain till this day. A year since giving birth, almost tomorrow. So when this comes out, it'll be 1 year since I gave birth. To recap, C-sections, day of surgery, not too bad because once the epidural goes in, the pain is basically gone. But for that, it is very painful, like the contractions and getting the needle in, the IV. I never do well with IVs, and they can never find my vein. So I'm hoping for 2026, they can find my IV and I just go in. They don't have to poke around. One time, I had PTSD from when I was a kid, and I got dehydrated. I got really dehydrated, and my parents took me to the hospital, and they had to poke around. And I have PTSD ever since. I'm staring at a white hospital wall, getting poked around by a needle. The contractions alone was already really painful. So, yeah, I think in February, I'm looking based on what I wrote down throughout the year. I really did question everything I was taught about success. And I was like, oh, I'm going to start my podcast and it's going to be amazing. But I announced it. I thought I would have all this time and energy, which did not. And that's okay. Because first and foremost, my goal for 2025 wasn't the best podcast or whatever. It was honestly to be the best mom that I could be for Ace. And that's also my goal for the 2 kids for 2026. I think becoming a mom really taught me to slow down and just breathe and just take in the day. Because, when you're never going to get this time with your child. When you're 80 and you think to this time, a lot of parents say when they're a lot older that, oh, I'm always going to think this time when they're a baby, and just the time you spend with them, cuddling, holding them, you're never going to get it back. That would make me emotional. So I really tried to spend every moment to relish and just be present with him because I don't want to regret not doing that and just spending time on my phone or whatever. And that truly did make me a lot happier if I was scrolling all day on Instagram or TikTok. I kept comparing myself to other people and their successes. And I think that's just about what social media is. And it can be very unhealthy. So it was best for me to step away, post from time to time, but really focus on my present self and my family. And when you're that exhausted, the baby, like, you can't think of anything else. It's you and the baby against the world. It also made me reevaluate my life choices in terms of career. I've always wanted a flexible job, and luckily I do. I never wanted the traditional 9 to 5 where you're not allowed to go anywhere, just chained to your desk. I never wanted that. And I am very lucky because my work is flexible for the most part. And especially like having children, I feel very supported in my work. So I'm very lucky because a lot of people cannot say the same thing. So I think that's something I'm very grateful to have a job that understands there's life outside of work. That's very important. And of course, I never want to succeed cost of my nervous system because I think when I was gaining the most followers on Instagram at my peak, 29,000 or something, I was hustling every day, like posting, it wouldn't stop. I was trying to find the next thing, next trend. I'll go on Twitter and see what's trending today. Oh, I need to post now and do all the research in one day and post. Day of. That was not sustainable. So I want to find out. I really just I want to be present in my everyday life. I want to obviously make enough so I can breathe, my family and I in a breathing room. Obviously, I want to have the filling work, but I don't want to put that over my family throughout my whole life because my childhood was so hectic in a lot of ways in terms of childhood trauma, abuse. All I ever wanted was just peace, and I definitely found it in a lot of ways in my family that I'm building, and that's what I hope going forward. Just a softer life where every day I don't wake up and I'm stressed and worried about safety and trying to survive. I don't want to survive all morning anymore. Now I want to thrive and be able to be with my family. I think March was when I really tried to explore the trauma I had with my dad and turn pain into purpose and create from pain. I wanted to share things that I've learned in case anyone else is in that situation where maybe you have an abusive parent or a partner or someone close to you. It could be anyone, to share my story and so that other people can relate. They can maybe realize that they've been giving people too many chances. I've really wanted to dig into my childhood trauma, learning how to express myself because I think it's hard for most people to speak in front of a camera, like video. I always avoided video because I've never been comfortable with it, but I think that goes for a lot of people. A lot of people say it really takes practice to speak in front of a camera. My podcast this year was designated. I get more comfortable in front of the camera and just speak, basically. So yeah, over time, hopefully gotten better, more comfortable with you guys, more comfortable in front of the camera. I definitely feel that way because I'm not wearing any makeup right now and I'm literally just recording. I'm in this routine that every week I record and I edit and I post, and I've gotten so used to it, it's become more normal for me. And I think that itself is a huge success for me because I'm comfortable with the camera before. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. I also think while reflecting on my childhood trauma, I really saw how I would constantly stay silent to keep the peace. But I know that there's a time and place to do that now. I can speak up for myself, even if other people don't like it. Even in mundane things like a restaurant, for example. Let's say most people want to go to a certain restaurant and I don't. I have to learn how to speak up, and I have been practicing that. Feeling my voice matters, my opinions matter, because I always felt like they didn't. That's why I would never say anything. But now I'm starting to really believe that my opinion does matter because it does. I don't want to tie my self-worth to my usefulness when I'm serving someone or not. I still matter as a human being, and you do too. It's not based on what you do. And it can be hard because, especially in today's society, rest feels like failure. When we're sick, we don't want to rest because we feel like we should be doing something. We feel like we should always be on the go, which is so unhealthy. And no wonder so many people burn out. I still feel uncomfortable because I don't like to feel like burdening other people, forcing people to do something they don't want to do. But I've never regretted asking for it, that's for sure. So I'm going to continue doing that because I need it. And so is my son. And in April 2025, that's when I switched from zero waste cutie to the pop advocate because I was done trying to pretend being like completely zero waste, which I never did pretend that I was completely zero waste. I always told people like, hey, I'm not 100% zero waste. I just want to talk about zero waste. That's how I started my page. But then it grew into something else, something more. It touched social justice, environmental justice, my personal story. And I was like, okay, I have to change my name because it doesn't reflect who I am anymore. It was a great start. I learned so much from it, met so many amazing people, and still have listeners who followed me when I was here. I was like, hey, I want to evolve. I want to make something bigger and also make people a part of that. So yeah, that's when I started the Thoughtful Advocate. And I think everyone listening is a thoughtful advocate in their own way, whether that's being a mother, being a human, going to school, going to work, living life, your hobbies, and just living. I think everyone can be a thoughtful advocate, especially people who stand up for what's right. And I think that's a lot of people on my platform. They believe something more than just themselves. They're also trying to find footing in standing up for themselves too, because I think that's important. So yeah, I think that was the first break in the mold because I've been pondering changing my name forever. Zero Waste Cutie. And I was like, okay, everyone knows me from that. What if people can't find me more or they don't care? But then I realized if they only care because of my name, do they really actually care? And I shouldn't be afraid to start again. I think that's just life. You evolve, you grow, change, you start over. It's cycles. So I think that was the first real step for me because I've been really reluctant to change my name for a long time. And I was like, hey, I'm going to finally do it. So I did. And yeah, I think April was when I really started to record and post. And I'd like to say I don't think I missed a single week since then. So yeah, I'm really proud of myself because I do this by myself. I was honestly terrified. So I'm like, okay, what if people find me boring because I'm just speaking by myself? What if I don't have anything to talk about? What if I run out of things? In general, if you meet me in real life, I'm a listener. I love listening to people tell their stories. I'm not a huge talker unless you ask me for an opinion, which I really appreciate people doing because sometimes when I'm talking to people, my mind just goes blank. And I try to process every little detail they're talking about. So sometimes I don't have a chance to talk myself. And I've been practicing with that, especially in groups because that is the hardest. There's so many people to pay attention to. My brain really likes focusing on one-on-one conversations and diving deeper into what people are saying, and it can be hard for me in groups. But I'm really proud of myself. I don't think I missed a single week, and I plan to keep going. Hopefully, I have to prove it though, or like when I give birth, because that is going to be cool. But I think I'm less afraid of it now because I'm more comfortable with myself in front of the camera. I need to be perfect. I could sit down anytime and hit record. I'm not as afraid, which is definitely helpful. I've always had this perfection mentality that everything has to be perfect. I got that makeup and my hair done, and I do have a script. You can probably see it through my glasses. But honestly, I'm mostly speaking from my mind, which is amazing and a huge turnaround for me because I've always had issues with that. And yeah, I think for the first time I saw something bigger than being perfect at everything and bigger than just, posting content. I want to leave a legacy, not through perfection, but through my everyday truth and just being myself. Being authentic is so important. Yeah, I've gotten questioned from my family, like, why am I posting about losing my nanny? Why am I posting about my dad? It's because I wanted to take these painful points in my life that I feel I learned the most from. I might as well share that with everyone because we can all learn from each other and turn negative thing into something positive. I think that is always something I strive to do. I really think that thing's a lot easier for me when John went on the 6 month mark, definitely after the 4 month mark, because we didn't have to feed him as often. Breastfeeding was the hardest part for me, so I am nervous, a little scared to go back to that, but I'm doing it because I want their immune system to be strong, so I will do it as long as I can. For Ace, that was a little over 9 months before he started biting me, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna go as long as I can. But yeah, things just got easier. I think at 6 months we found a routine, and my mom was right. She was saying, yeah, around 6 months it does get better. I'm probably expecting the same for the second baby. Hopefully things will be better in general. I hope he doesn't have stomach pains or health issues. We'll see. Well, the summer was great. I think we started going out more, going on more walks, just getting out more, which was really nice and good for me mentally. The summer really taught me that rest was part of my responsibility. And if I did not include rest in my day routines, it would break basically every part of my life. I wouldn't have a regulated nervous system, which you need when you're having a child. You need patience and understanding. It just would have delayed my recovery. So I think December really was a month of rest. And to really challenge that belief that, oh, rest is being lazy when it's not. Rest is productive. And it really changed my mindset on rest. Rest didn't slow me down. It brought me back to myself. I don't think this was the year for physical success that I thought it would have been. And that's okay. I think the success we have is a healthy child who's happy, and honestly, the biggest joy of my life. He's the best thing ever to me every day. Tim, it brings me so much joy. I think this year was also a year of repairing my nervous system, relying on other people's help, putting myself first, resting, identity shedding, letting go of perfection, which was huge for me, being more authentic and less afraid to be authentic, and having the time to practice that through my podcasts, boundary building, putting boundaries with myself, other people, family, friends, doesn't matter. I definitely practiced that a lot this year and it's made me happier. 2026, I hope smooth birth and recovery. Hope for baby healthy and happy, and both my kids to be healthy and happy, and for my family as well. And yeah, I want to build creatively without burning out, because as you can tell, definitely happened with environmental topics. And I want my podcast, YouTube channel to grow sustainably. I want to be comfortable asking for help and be able to delegate, not to do everything alone. I want financial stability for me and my family in a way that promotes rest and not pressure. I want work that aligns with my values and beliefs and to really carry me forward. 2026 is that year to put everything that I've learned from 2025 and many years previous, and to really learn how to thrive in life, take every moment as it comes, and to really start living the way I want to start living, because I feel like I wasn't able to do that for most of my life. So 2026 is when I want to start living for myself, and it's going to seep into everything in my life, my family, my friends, my work life, my hobbies, like just everything. Yeah, I want to continue being authentic and really rebuild from the truth. And yeah, and share my journey with you. I think that's what I've been doing since 2017 when I started my Instagram page, shared my journey. I started sharing my journey to zero waste, and now sharing my journey motherhood and being a human being who stands up for herself and her beliefs and makes the life that she wants. So hope you guys have a happy new year, and next year is the year of the horse, the fire horse. That's very exciting. Hope everyone has a wonderful holiday and happy new year to everyone listening. And thank you so much for listening. If you like this video and want to hear more, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can follow me on Instagram. Email me. As always, I appreciate your guys' comments. I receive so many support comments after posting about our nanny quitting, so I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for listening to the Thoughtful Advocate podcast. November. I was really dreading November for the longest time, because once I found out I had to go back to work, cut my leave short, because in Canada, they don't allow they do allow it, but if you want EI, it's 55% of your pay. You need to basically make up 600 hours in between your mat leave, your first and second mat leave. So most people don't have mat babies. They don't have to worry about the 600 hour leave. But if you do, just keep that in mind. Make up 600 hours before you can get your for the following year. So yeah, it was a lot. I think it basically broke me. It was hard in so many ways. Yeah, and I think it did teach me a lot of things. It let me step into the shoes of moms who are also working, naughty, and how things can fall apart really. So childcare plans, your nanny leaving you. We already knew that daycare was going to be an issue because, again, the wait lists were the one that just opened in Canada. Started 2028, which makes no sense. Yeah, working from home. I got really lucky because, again, my work is flexible with that. But it was hard because the first 2 weeks, and the only 2 weeks Daddy was there, he was still getting used to her. So he was crying when I would leave the room. I had to make a call, go on a meeting, and he would just scream, and it would just break my heart. I was crying too. It was a mental breakdown. It was tough. And when he's crying, especially in the beginning, the first week was so rough. Like he gets to the point where he's crying, scream crying, and not eating, not taking anything in, and throwing a huge fit, which I understand because we haven't really been apart other than like a couple of days, which was tough for my mother-in-law because she helped us watch him. For example, we went to Coldplay and he was screaming the whole time. So yeah, he's just not used to it at all. Separation anxiety is so real. I think it starts around 9 months, goes up to almost 2 years old. Like he's gotten so much better, thank God. Especially with my mother-in-law. I think they're like best friends now, so it's very cute. But first couple times were rough. And yeah, while being at work, I really questioned society. Not that I haven't questioned society before, but I really questioned it because I was like, how's this fair for moms? Like, can't be there fully for our child. We're basically breaking ourselves in half to do work to be a mom. Giving half to both is really unfair. Yeah, it's hard because you're supposed to work like you don't have kids, which you do, and parent like you don't have a job, which you also do, because especially in Like Canada, North America, you need two incomes. Like in Canada, without two incomes, you cannot afford a house. When I talk to older folks, they feel sorry for me because they said, oh, back then they could just be a stay-at-home mom and the husband could just work one job and he can afford everything. The food, the bills, the house. It's possible these days. Like houses were what, like 200K back then? And now they're for 70 detached, it's like over a mil. It is unrealistic for a lot of people to have kids today. And why a lot of younger couples choose not to have kids. One really talks about for impossible motherhood inside the system that was truly never built for us. We have women's rights, which is great. Like women work, they don't have to be afraid of their husbands. If they leave them, they could sell an income to feed themselves. But we're still long way. Canada, we're very fortunate because the mat leave is at least 1 year. In America, you're screwed for weeks. And you have to use your own vacation time. It just doesn't make sense. I think December was really time to rest. I've taken this month when my husband took vacation because at least when I work, he can watch Ace, and that really saves me. Ace loves his dad, and at least he won't be crying. And yeah, I really need to rest because this third trimester, I think it's hard because I just don't have enough energy to run around with Ace all day and play with him. Right now, he's crawling, trying to climb everything, and he's also trying to walk. And within 30 minutes, I'm like sweating like a dog. So it does get really difficult for Rachel. They have to. It's really hard for me, and I can't keep bending down to catch him. Most houses today are like hardwood floors, not like back in the day, everything was like carpeted. So yeah, if he falls, which he has, and it's obviously a lot harder on him with hardwood. So the huge anxiety of mine. He also got sick in December. I think we got pretty lucky in a way. Like last time he was sick was when we were straight out of the hospital. Also added to newborn stress. But I think we got lucky because a lot of people get sick when they first have kids, or just when they have kids in general. So I think from January, basically 1 year where he hasn't been sick. So like 1 full year. So that's pretty good. And I think we dealt with it pretty well. Thank God he was able to take Tylenol for kids because if I had to take it in the hospital, that would have been horrible. The wait time for forever. And yeah, he recovered pretty fast in 3 days. So then I got sick. So I think honestly, we got pretty lucky. Since then, I've been having diarrhea on and off. I don't know what it is. I've been washing my hands. Just this week, I've been having diarrhea. So I may not even record because I will get so much pink in the washroom. But I do feel better now. December is a month I really try to slow down and stop trying to rush and push myself when I needed rest. When I needed rest, I let myself rest, which honestly saved so much. And my body healed so much faster by resting. Okay, so today's sponsor is Kind Laundry. Just kidding, they're not really a sponsor, but I do have an affiliate code. Kind Laundry use natural ingredients, and it actually comes in these sheets. So much more useful than liquid laundry detergent because that stuff gets messy. With Kind Laundry, you can bring this anywhere. It's literally in a box, pack in your suitcase, and it's that easy. You can get 10% off by using code ZeroWasteCute.